Okay. So in today's session, we'll see OEM setups. Okay, to support O2C cycle process. What are the basic setups required from OEM? We'll see those setups, including pricing related and other setups. So anyway, AR is configured and already we tested. So once we are ready with OEM configuration, we can test O2C cycle. Okay, so these are the basic setups which you have to complete from order management side. Just up to here. Then we look at the process called sales order creation, validation, booking the sales order, pick release, pick confirmation, and ship confirmation, interfacing the sales order information to auto invoice interface, and importing the same from auto invoice interface to AR based tables. Fine. So when we are going to implement O2C cycle, so we have to make sure that we assigned our inventory to system options, AR system options. So otherwise, when you try to perform the auto invoice process, it will fail. So just make sure that we just associated inventory with in system options. I think as a part of receivables configuration, we did that task. We'll go and cross check. Go to implementation project. Manage implementation projects. Task is system options. Receivable system options. Click on go to task icon. Here you can find out the setup which already we completed. So our BU name is Google US Business Unit. Click on search. Select. Click on edit. So in case of EBS, what we do is by using OEM system parameters, we specify inventory from OEM side. So that setup would be enough to process the auto invoice. But in Fusion, like you have to complete the same OEM parameter setup. Along with that, we have to do the mapping of inventory with our BU for receivables also. Okay, here already item validation organization selected for our business unit. Okay, fine. The next task is set up order management parameters. OM parameters, same as EBS. So search for task called as order management parameters. Okay, I think we need to add the relevant module into this project, right? So we have offerings only financials, procurement, material management, logistics, and so product management. So we have to add the offering called as it's reality option module only, but they just given as a offering. You have to add order management. Just add order management offering into project. It's added. Along with this, we have to add value chain planning also. Supply chain planning, not value chain. So supply chain planning also we have to add, which will allow us to define the planning related definitions which are mandatory to run the O2C cycle in Fusion. In case of VBS, those are not mandatory. Here you have to create as a mandatory. We'll see that. When done, we added offerings called as order management and supply chain planning. Now you can search for the task called as order management parameters. Just click on go to task icon. Here we have parameter called as item validation organization. Select and add our business unit into this list. So this is our BU and we want to map which inventory to this business unit. So Google US, this is the actual inventory, right? Just map this to this specific business unit. Then rest of parameters are optional. Okay, so you can say save and close. So we completed this task. So now we'll go with all these definitions. We'll just go with, since these are mandatory to run the transaction process in OM, we'll just see how to define it. We don't need to get detailed understanding about it, since our target is testing the O2C cycle process. So just go with the same naming convention, release sequence rules. Just complete these with the mandatory parameters by providing. So task name is manage release sequence rules. Click on create. Say Google release sequence rule. Set the priority of releasing the material based on sales order, based on schedule ship date priority. You can set ascending order and all. Just enough. This is just as basic definitions we can complete, so that we'll be able to proceed with the transaction process. Done. And just define pick slip grouping rule. Manage pick slip grouping rules. this task. So click on manage peak wave release rules. Second. So manage peak wave release rules. Just click on add. Say Google peak wave release rule. So here you can just ship from organization, you can select as a default Google US, then that sub inventory. You don't need to set like order customer default and all, not required. So then you can go to options, pick from inventory. Staging is not mandatory. Okay, here the further setups, those will become mandatory. And what are the rules we defined, you may assign here if you want us. Release sequence rules, peak slip grouping rules we created, right? Those all you can set as a default here. Google release sequence rule, Google peak slip grouping rule. Okay, so all these specifications you can set. You can say save and close. Just click on edit save. Release status, you can set not only unreleased orders, all you can set as all. Okay, done. So create a staging sub inventory. Search for the task called as sub inventory. In the next setup, sub inventory will staging inventory will become mandatory. As a mandatory, we have to specify. So before that, we'll go and create the staging sub inventory. So within this organization, we have only one sub inventory. We'll create one staging inventory also. Click on create. Just give the name as staging. Enough. Just say save and close. Just click on done. Now the next step is shipping parameters. Task is manage shipping parameters. Click on go to task icon. Okay, shipment criteria across the orders and just done. Here just you can map with the, you can associate ship confirmation rule which we created. Google ship confirmation rule. the weight, unit of measurements and all, you can set weight to weight, and the volume, unit of measurement is volume only. Currents, it's already defaulting. Shipment set behavior, even it is optional, set some value, say just information, otherwise it won't allow you to save this definition. And here you can just specify pick release related information, release sequence rule, which we created as a Google release sequence rule, pick slip grouping rule, Google pick slip grouping rule, and staging sub inventory, it's a mandatory. So just select whatever just now we created, and apart from that, optional, nothing is mandatory here. That this the basic information would be enough. So now you can say save and close. Done. So create collector, because when you are working on OEM process to support, I mean to create the sales order, we require customer. That is the reason just I mentioned these setups. These setups: collector creation, payment terms, statement cycle, customer, sorry, collector, payment terms, statement cycle, customer profile class, and customer creation. So all these setups completed, right? AR side we completed. and yes, that is already just be done. Okay, so the setup already we completed. Now we have to assign the role to user. Okay, the role which allows that user to create the sales order. Okay, we'll go and assign the role and we'll provide the data access for the same. Fine. So we have a pricing roles. Okay, so see here, these are the pricing related setups. So price list definition. In case of EBS, just we create price list as a mandatory. Okay, that's all. That will help us to derive the price for the items whatever we have as inventory stock. So, but in the Fusion, these are the setups which are related to pricing. So first we have to create the price list and create pricing segment, which is a lookup, and create pricing price list strategy and customer profile, pricing profile, and pricing segment, and pricing strategy assignment. So these are all setups we have to complete to just get to derive the price for the items. Okay, so just we'll go and complete this. Okay, so the roles basically which we have to assign for to process the sales orders, we need one role, that is order manager role. Okay, to work on this pricing related configuration. So if you assign those roles, then only you can just work on these pricing related setups. So before that, we have to assign the roles and we have to provide the data access to the pricing related roles also. So then only we'll be able to do the pricing setups for specific BU. So related to pricing, we have a few roles. Say pricing manager and pricing analyst and pricing administrator. So these are the four roles we have to assign to the user so that that user will be able to work on O2C cycle. O2C cycle in the sense, based on this, user can create the sales orders, they can process a sales order, and to complete the pricing related configuration. Okay, these roles are required. Okay, to complete the pricing related setups, these roles are required. Now just we'll go and assign these four roles to our user, and for these four roles we'll do the mapping, the BU mapping for these four roles. Just go to security console. So our username is Google. Say add role. So for OM role is order manager. Select and say assign. So ORA do. Okay, DOO do means distributed order orchestration. That is a representation of workflow, you can say, how the process should work. That is defined through do process. distributed order orchestration. Other roles like pricing manager, assign pricing analyst, pricing administrator. Just say done. So we assigned 4 roles. Order manager, pricing manager, analyst, and administrator. Fine. Save and close. Now we have to provide the data access for these 4 roles. Just click on done. Okay. Google. So pricing administrator. So equity contest is business unit. Value is Google. Say save and close. Okay, first pricing administrator we assign. Administrator analyst. Then manager we have to select. Fine. So save and close. Sorry. User with the data access. Think that security contest was missing. We'll check it once. What are we assigned? Pricing related roles. Pricing manager. Okay. Mapping is done. Pricing analyst done. Pricing administrator. Administrator analyst. Okay, done. It's taken. Fine, everything just got updated. Done. Now we have to run the LDAP job for synchronization. Just go to schedule new process. Just say submit. Okay, fine, we submitted. It will take some time to complete, we know that. And basically pricing related roles synchronization will happen once this process is complete. Anyway, just we'll sign out and sign in, and we'll try to proceed with the setups. If required, like the synchronization, we'll wait for some time and we'll just go ahead. Fine. So we'll look at other setups. So roles we assign, role related access. Sorry. We provided data access for the user. Then these are the 4 roles we assigned, and we mapped BU to those roles to our user. Now these setups are pricing related setups. First we have to create the price list for our item. Okay, if you want to create the price list for our item, what are the roles we assign to our current user? Those should be synchronized with that user, then only you can go and create the price list. So we'll go and see. So you may just click on home page. Second. We're landing in the same page. So from here or from the navigator you can find the task called as pricing administration. It has to be synchronized, otherwise in this setup you don't get our business unit. We'll just try. If it's working we'll proceed, or else we'll wait for some time. Okay, so what we have to do, just after assigning the roles and submitting that synchronization LDAP, okay, click on home icon or else go to navigator, and you could see the task called as pricing administration. Just click on pricing administration and go to task list. Here you can create the price list. Say manage price list and click on create. Give the price list name Google price list. And if synchronization is done we can get the BU, otherwise we have to wait for some time. We'll see. Click on LOB. Yes, we are getting our BU. That means the role got synchronized. Normally when we do this setup immediately after doing that role assignment, you may not see the value in the LOB. In that case you have to wait for some time. That's it. Start date, say today's date. Okay, type price list type, you can go with the segment price list, and currency you can select our functional currency, and pricing catalog calculation method like these we don't need to change it. So you can just click on save and edit. Don't say save and close, just click on save and edit so that we can add the item. So once you click on save and edit, this is how the system will open this page. And here you have to, we are under this price list lines tab. Under that we have a search option for items. You can just click on add. We are going to add the item to specify the price. So item is just what name we have. We'll check it. Given as a Google. Yeah, so this is the item we have in our inventory. So this item we are getting because we mapped our inventory in the OM order management parameters, right? Say okay, select item. For this we are going to set the price. Okay, scroll little down. Okay, done, fine. So we added, just click on create charge. And it will open the fields below. Scroll little down. Here pricing charge definition. You can say sales price. and the calculation method is price and the base price. Say the Google item is Google item, just the Google so and so number we given. So the unit price is 5,000, sales price $5,000. For this price, if you want to allow manual adjustments, okay, you may just enable it and provide start date from which date this rate is applicable. Okay, after completing this, you can go to just save it. Just we added item, just we added in the same way. If you have multiple items, you can add and you can set the price. Then you can go to access sets. It's nothing but reference data sets. So click on add, select our common. Okay, for every BU, automatically system takes common reference data set only at the business unit set assignment level. So here also map it so that it will sync. Now you have to approve it. So the status should turn into approved. Just its action which we have to perform. So then say save and close. Just approve and say save and close and verify the status of the price list. So in progress. Search. Now you can see the status as approved. So this is how we have to create the price list for specific item. We're done with this. Okay. So now we have to create the pricing segment. So this pricing segment, just it's all about lookup value. Okay, we have to create the lookup value. To create the lookups, we have a task called as standard lookups. Okay, just go to search for standard lookups from the project. Okay, and we can create one lookup value for pricing segment, which is required in the pricing related configuration. So go to implementation project. Even you, it's not mandatory to, as we should go to project directly from this FSM homepage. Also you can do it. If you can go to directly search for standard lookups. So here is a task called as manage standard lookups. Okay, or else application specific also we have. So everything you can find under this task, manage standard lookups. So we have to add the value means with we have to query with the lookup name, right, in EBS. So you want to add some new pay groups for payables, or so you want to add some other different statuses for some any lookup, like which is user defined or extensible, where it allows new values entry. The same way here in the standard lookups, what we want to do is we want to add pricing segment. Pricing segment, we want to add one value. Okay, for pricing segment we have a lookup called as, so that you can see that starts with lookup type. Lookup type is nothing but code. Say ORA QP, just search, we can find that values. From that we can pick which is the right lookup for our pricing segment. ORA QP. Oh, we got many. You can filter with the customer cost, because the customer related pricing. So QP Let me drag this little right, we can see the name. Customer, yeah, this is the one. This is the exact name. Pricing segments. Search. So within this lookup, we have to add the lookup code, the value which we require. So this is how just we have to define the lookup value. We'll create our own. Click on add. Say Google display sequence. Here give the sequence, already we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, up to 80 we have. We can give this as a 90. Okay. Start date you may take as a past date, how we have for other definitions. So meaning is Google pricing segment. Okay, that's all. This is our name we have to give. This name will be using in the further definitions to have a unique definition. Done. So save and close. Okay, just click on done. Now we have to create the pricing strategy. Okay, price list strategy we have to create. So for that you can go to pricing administrator. Go to pricing administrator. From navigator or from home page. Go to task list. So here we have a task called as manage pricing strategies. Just go to manage pricing strategy. Okay, we're done with that. Pricing strategy we are creating. Just call it as manage pricing. I'll just call it as create pricing strategy. Just click on create. So pricing strategy, say Google pricing strategy. This pricing strategy we are creating for which BU, select our BU. Because our BU is mapped with this pricing related roles, so that is the reason it is coming. Okay, just notice this pricing setups we are not doing from FSM. Okay, these setups, pricing related setups are not part of FSM. The pricing setups we are doing based on the roles. Okay, so default currency USD and default conversion objective not required. Just say start date. Provide start date. Allow price, allow currency not required. So save and do edit. Click on save and edit. And go to pricing rules. So earlier in the price list definition time, so whatever the pricing rule we used is price list we used is segment price list. So that we have to assign to this strategy. price list we created, right? The price list creation time we selected the price list definition. We have a specification of segment price list. That is the reason segment also pricing segment also created. So now here we have to go to pricing segment and click on add segment price list whatever we created. Okay, this is the price list we created. We have to assign that price list to pricing strategy. Say okay. So that's all. Other specifications, price list, return, cost, discounts, and these are all not required. So that's all. Okay, this is specification we have to give. Then say approve. Make sure that the status will turn into approve. Just provide starting date as a today's date. What's wrong with this? Yep. Fine. So you can say approve. Say yes. Say save and close. Verify the status. Now we create and submitted. We'll verify the status. So approved status done. Pricing strategy. So customer pricing profile we have to create. Based on customer profile, the price system has to derive. For that we will be setting the size of customer and all other specifications. Okay. So now we can go to customer pricing profile definition. Manage customer pricing profile. Sure, you just after defining it, you can make a snapshot of this. By following the same profile, we'll be creating the criteria. So when it meets, then only system will derive the price accordingly. We'll see that. Okay. So for which customer we want to set the pricing. Okay. So see, we created customer profile class. Uh, Sorry, this price list. So that price list should be applicable for which customer by following which criteria. Okay, that we are going to specify that. Okay, here we have to give the first customer pricing profile. Our customer name is Google customer. And the revenue potential. What is the revenue potentiality we have from this customer? Say high. The cost to serve high. The customer value is high. And customer rating is very high. And size is small, medium, large customer. So these are all specifications you can give. Better you can make a snapshot by following the same. We have to define the further definition. Then only when it meets, system will derive the price whatever we are defining. Let's take a snapshot. Date and say save and close. Done. Now we have to go with the pricing segment definition. Here pricing segment value, create pricing segment, reality pricing segment only. That what we do is here whatever we create is the pricing segment value we define. Here the actual pricing segment definition we do. Create pricing segments. Go to task list. So manage pricing segments. Okay, what are the pricing segment through lookup we created that you have to select here. So in this environment there are many pricing segments defined. Okay, many are defined. We can create our own. So or else since this is a test environment, nothing wrong if you remove all this. A fresh instance you don't see anything, all these definitions. Anyway, whatever we define that would be unique. Okay, it's not required to remove also. Okay, so however we created customer pricing profile to match, we have to create the pricing segment here. Okay, but you don't delete this, the others whatever the setup they do for their testing, that will get disturbed. In this instance so far we didn't use any OM configuration, that is the reason I'm deleting. Okay, when you are practicing, if you see any pricing segment as defined here, you don't delete it. I just deleted since this is the first time we are using this instance for practice. Okay, after this session you will start working on this, so you don't delete any pricing segment definitions if you see as if you are existed. Okay, done. Just we delete and now we'll create our own, or else you can leave as is whatever you could see and you can create your own. Click on add row. So here what are the pricing segment we create, the criteria which you will be setting, that you make sure that it will match with your customer, so that when you create the sales order with for your customer, system will derive the price. So revenue potential, here what we given revenue potential as high. Customer size large. Cost to serve high. Customer value high. And here next one is customer rating very high. And here you have to select our pricing segment, Google pricing segment. By default the precedence is take 100, that you can accept. Done. So if the same criteria, when you are creating the transactions for this customer revenue potential high and cost to serve and all, so this and all it will look at for this customer, what is the criteria with the same parameters, same criteria. If any pricing segment is available, then it will look at which is the pricing segment name is selected. This will be just mapping with the in the next step to the price list connectivity mapping. So that's how it will derive the price. When you create the transaction for any customer, what is the pricing profile, it will verify with this profile. By meeting the same profile, any price is available through price list or not, it will check. If it is available, then it will derive, otherwise it will fail to derive the price. That's all. So we created a pricing segment. Okay, so this is a value which we created through lookup that we have to select, which is a unique. Say save and close. Done. Now pricing strategy assignment. So go to task list. Here we have a task called as manage pricing strategy assignment. Fine. So here we can define our own pricing. Pricing strategy assignment. So what we could do is line material order and all. We'll go with this header. Okay, these are the seeded. Okay, these you could see as a basically seeded header and line. You select header section. So there are few assignments which you could see. Now we'll go with created all these all in the precedence of 10 only. Okay. Now just you can so 1 second. Let me scroll a little up. Yeah. You can just click on add and the channel. It's not mandatory all you have to specify. Any one or two you can specify, but make sure that pricing strategy you are selecting. Inside sale, outside sale, direct, not required. Here pricing segment, Google pricing segment. Transaction type you may select as a sales order. And pricing strategy we created, right? The pricing strategy we are mapping with the pricing segment. Notice that within the pricing strategy you have a price list. Okay, price list to pricing strategy to pricing segment. So here you can set some different precedents. Already since these precedents are available, you should not go with the same. You can set it maybe to 110. But anyway, it's unique, definition wise unique. Strategy and pricing segments will be totally different. So this is how you have to create the pricing strategy assignment. Pricing strategy assignment means the pricing strategy we are assigning to pricing segment. So save and close. So we done pricing related definition setups. And create carriers, nothing but shipping methods. Just when you go with the further setups and process, the shipping method will become mandatory. Search for freight carriers. It's nothing but shipping method. So just go to setup part FSM. That we have to map with our inventory organization again. The same setup. So carriers. Sorry. So there will be a task called as manage carriers. So go to the task to create the shipping methods. Just click on create. Provide the name Google road or air or voyage. Just specify Google air and shipping method. Just save up to here, then it will open this section to create service level and all. You can specify. Click on add service level. It's just mode of transportation air, and assign this shipping method to your inventory organization. To assign it, go to actions, say select and add. From Google US inventory, when you are shipping the material to customer, this is the shipping method we want to use. Select and say apply. So let's try with OK. We'll see if it is not selecting. Yes, selected. So that's all. Just you can say save and close. Carriers, nothing but shipping method we created. So just transaction types are not mandatory in Fusion. So in case of EBS, without sales order transaction types, header and line, we cannot create the transaction. But here transaction types are not at all mandatory. Just for information you may specify, otherwise not at all required. Okay, the transaction types not required. So now we have to set up planning source system. Fine. Transaction types not mandatory. Okay, so we have to set up planning source system. To set up planning source system, we just go to navigator, and these are related to value chain planning. Okay, here in Fusion what happens is, so this planning source system and collect planning data and sourcing rules assignment, that sourcing rules set assignments and ATP rules is all we have to complete. It's a mandatory. In case of EBS, if you are implementing the O2C cycle and all, these setups are not at all mandatory until unless you have a requirement of definitions. But here, to work very standard process, also these rules are mandatory, where the planning data and sourcing data, everything need to be synced with OM. Okay, and again, the what are the items we have in the inventory application, automatically those won't be available in order management. Only through this collect planning data process only the data would be available. That's how they just did some changes. So we'll see that. So planning source system. So you can just go to navigator. So supply chain planning. Click on plan inputs. So okay, we are talking about planning source system, right? You can search and find the task with this, or else I think we can come here also. Planning source system. Here they are not giving. You can find from the search. You can manage planning source system. This task you can find from our project also, because value chain planning, just the task we assigned, right? Supply chain planning offering we add into our project. Through that you can get it. Okay, fine. So here that just by default that planning source system, it's which is where you can do the planning, that is Oracle planning system, OPS. Okay, which can be used for orchestration process, nothing but ordering. For order creation, the planning information is required. So the name is code is OPS. Okay, Oracle planning system. So here what we have to do is we have to add our inventory organization. Okay, we have to add our inventory organization here, so that from our inventory organization, whatever the data we have, uh, our inventory item stock, everything, all the information will be able to update to order management. That means we want to pull item information from which inventory to our order management. That's what we are going to specify. So where you are going to have your planning data, item data, all the information we have to specify here. So once we navigate here, what we could do is just we navigated, we are landing on this page, and here you have to go to source system as a OPS. Yes, OPS. Select it. Okay, select it. After selecting, click on manage organization list. Click on manage organization list. After clicking here, don't search for your inventory directly. It may come, may not come. After coming to this page, you have to click on refresh organization list. Now it's everything, see, got refreshed here. It's published. So now you can search for our inventory organization. Just type with a G, click on search. So we could see our inventory organizations here. Now what we can do is select, add these two inventories to planning source system, so that within this inventory organizations, what are the planning data we have, items data, etc., all the information can be synchronized with OM based on the process which we follow, which we run. Just we are adding for OPS. Okay, planning system, this OPS will be used by OM. So for order management, from which inventories data should flow, that is the meaning of it. Okay, we select it and click on done. That's all. Just we have to map our inventory with the planning system. Completed the task. Now run collect planning data. Within that inventories, whatever the data we have, the data we have to just we have to move from inventory to OM. Means that data we have to populate into order orchestration. Okay, or distributed order orchestration. Simply we call as order orchestration, DOO. D stands for distributed, O stands for order, O stands for again orchestration. Normally we call as order orchestration, nothing but which represents OM. Okay, do distributed order orchestration. So whenever you do this collect planning data, it's a job program which will move the data from the source system, our inventory, to here. By default source system is our inventory only here, OPS, like which is a part of Fusion. So from that system, what are the inventory information and other information, inventory related or planning related, all the data will be moved to do distributor order orchestration, nothing but OM process, you can understand. Okay, now we have to go and run the collect planning data. So to run this, you can perform this task from navigator. Go to navigator, supply chain planning, plan inputs, and go to task list. Here is the task called as collect planning data. We have to collect the planning data, okay, to inventory order management. Source system, select OPS. So collect data, collection type. Okay, so here we have a targeted and net changes. So here it's a targeted and net changes, in the sense, see here, when you say targeted, only for the data what are the changes are happened, only that information only will system will target and it will move. Okay, and net changes means that it will take the total data. Okay, here you can go with the targeted. First time when you do it, you can go with the targeted. It will move the total data to that respective table. You can just go with the targeted, and here which data we want to copy from inventory side planning data to our order management process. So these are the different entities we have. Which entities of the data we require, you can select. Okay, primarily to do the next setup, we require items and all that information, inventory organization. So I am not selecting everything. I'm going to select only organization and item. Maybe your customer information also. If you want to, how you want to define based on that, you can select it. Okay, or else you can select everything. It will take more time to complete this process. That is the difference. Fine. So this is how you can select. And the supply planning data also, you can specify what information you want to update from inventory to order management, how many quantities system should update, and rest if anything is there you can do it. You can select, or else you can select everything. That total selection will do later. Okay, again we'll be running once again. At that time we'll see that. Fine, you just selected these specifications. Now you can say submit. Which data you want to update from this planning system to OM process. You can go to schedule process to monitor this job. First it will collect, then it will upload. Separate tables will be there in the back end. From there it will collect and it will upload. So now first it is extracting. You can look at the just parent task here. You can select hierarchy, collection job set. So ended with error. No output file and nothing. Just 1 second. Plan inputs. OPS. Fine, just let it run first as the net changes. Later we can run through that process. So you can select the customer updates item, and the organizations, and go to supply planning data. On hand you may select. I'll just submit it. Schedule process. It's just got blocked the previous, just which we submitted previous one. Okay, let it end with error. We cannot do anything with that. Those are the standard programs. So we'll just complete and we'll see. If it is not reflecting, we can click on it. It is not extracting. Basically, it has to extract, then it has to load. Two tasks, child task it has to perform. It's failing to extract. Fine, no issues. Like this part we'll see in the tomorrow session. Okay, I'll just verify why getting error in this environment. Okay, once you submit it, what it has to run this child jobs called as extract Oracle Fusion entity. Then once it is extract into specific tables, it has to load into OM related tables. Fine, no issues. Just take up to here. So I'm not marking as this collection planning data as we done. Just we complete up to planning source system. Up to here we completed. Okay. Transaction types, it's not mandatory, not required, optional. Not require those. Okay, done. So in the tomorrow session we'll see like just running the collect planning data. Then we'll define the sourcing rules. Okay. So then we'll assign that sourcing set assignment by using this profile option. Then we have to create ATP rules. Once again we have to run the same collect planning data, because what through this setups what we do, that information also need to be updated in the OM. So then finally we'll run the refresh. What are the data we are collecting that has to be refreshed, then everything will sync with the OM. Will be able to work on the process. In tomorrow's session we could see the complete O2C cycle. We'll complete the remaining setups in the tomorrow session, and we'll go through the process of creating sales order, booking, quick release ship confirmation, finally importing that sales order information to receivables as a auto invoice. We'll close this O2C cycle in tomorrow's session. Okay, so just we done up to here planning source system. From this task we'll just see in the tomorrow session. So that's all for today. Any questions from anyone, please? If no questions, we can wind up for today and we'll connect tomorrow same time.